Hello everyone. Today I will introduce you to trade secret protection and more specifically to what you need to do to effectively protect your trade secrets. It is estimated today that close to 80% of the value of a company lies in its intangible assets. That means that what gives value to a company is its capacity to innovate and its capacity to protect the result of its innovation. And basically companies have two ways to do that. They can use intellectual property rights, IP rights, patents, copyrights, design rights, trademarks, and then they can also use trade secrets. Now, a trade secret is not an intellectual property right. It doesn't grant an exclusive right to its owner. Trade secret protection derives mainly from the nature of the information at stake and the way that information is handled by the company, by the trade secret owner. In recent years, we have seen across the globe a very dynamic and important activity in terms of legislative action. In the United States, in China, in the European Union, legislators have adopted new pieces of legislation in order to reinforce the rights of the trade secret owners. And in Belgium, very recently, on July 30, 2018, was adopted the law on the protection of trade secrets. Now, what is interesting is that all these laws have adopted a common definition of trade secrets. And basically, what can constitute a trade secret? Well, know-how, business information, and technological information. So the object of protection is extremely broad, and that's why trade secrets are so interesting. Can be a trade secret an algorithm, source codes, prototypes, financial information, consumer preferences, technical drawings, non-patented inventions, marketing strategies. So it's very broad, and you could even say that almost any kind of information can be a trade secret, provided that you can prove three things. First, it's secret. Second, it has commercial value because it is secret. And third, you need to be able to prove that you have adopted reasonable steps to keep the information secret. Now, what does that mean, reasonable steps to keep information secret? Well, first of all, it means that as a company, as a trade secret owner, you have the obligation to proactively take measures to protect the secrecy of the information. So protection is not automatic. If you do not take reasonable steps, the information will not qualify as a trade secret and it won't be protected. You will not benefit from the reinforced trade secret protection regime. So it's key to enforce your trade secret, and basically it's the first thing that the judge will check. Let's say you have an employee, he decides to leave your company. Before leaving, he downloads some sensitive and valuable information to your business. He's employed by a competitor of you, and he decides to use that specific information within his new employer. You decide to act against that employee, possibly against his new employer, your competitor. The judge will ask you to establish that you have taken reasonable steps, depending on the circumstances, to keep the information secret, basically to prevent that situation from happening. Was the information freely accessible to all the employees of your business? Was the employee aware that this information was confidential, that he did not have the right to copy it and to freely use it? Did you effectively control the access to that information? Was that information marked as being confidential? If the answers to all these questions is negative, the chance is high that the judge will consider that the information at stake is not a trade secret, even though it has a lot of value to your business, and he will not grant you protection. Now, concretely, what are these reasonable steps? What should you implement in order to protect the secrecy of your information? First thing you should do is an audit. It's to identify your trade secrets and organize a trade secret inventory. If you want to protect something, you need to have a clear view of what that something is. Second, very important to control the access and to restrict the access to confidential information to a need-to-know basis. Obviously, the more people have access to an information, the higher the risk that these people or one of them will illicitly use, disclose, appropriate your trade secrets. Third type of measures are legal measures. your company should have a company-wide confidentiality policy that applies to all your employees. And make sure that your employees understand the content of that policy. Do they understand what constitutes a trade secret for your company? And do they know and understand what they can and cannot do with that information? Very important, of course, to use NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, and also to insert confidentiality provisions in your contract as soon as you're likely to disclose confidential information. And so a whole set of contracts should contain confidentiality clauses, manufacturing agreements, outsourcing agreements, joint venture agreements, joint development agreements, employee agreements, employment agreements. All these should include confidentiality provisions because you will be likely to disclose confidential information. Fourth type of measures are physical and organizational. Make sure that you control the physical access to the areas where you store your trade secrets. Mark documents that contain confidential information as being confidential. It should be labeled very clearly. Use safe lockers, impose clean desk policy to your workforce, compartmentalize your trade secrets. There's a whole set of measures that you can take basically to inform people that specific information is confidential and to make it difficult to access them and copy them. Fifth type of measure are IT security measures. Extremely important to use relevant and efficient firewalls, systematic use of password and logins, and your passwords should be changed on a regular basis. Use encryption softwares. Make it difficult to copy information, so deactivate USB ports of the computers of your employees. Use standalone computers that are not connected to the internet or to the intranet of the company in order to store your more secret and sensitive confidential information. Last but not least, adapt your HR policies and processes. It is estimated in the US that close to 85% of the trade secrets and illicit use disclosure of trade secrets are linked to people that are close to the company, very often employees or ex-employees. So very important to conduct entry interview, onboarding interview, while you will explain to your new employee what his obligations are in terms of trade secret protection. Make sure also that the new employee does not come to your company with trade secrets of others. You do not want to have an important research project polluted by the trade secret of the former employer of your new employee. And same thing when an employee leaves your company. Conduct exit interviews. Very important to remind him his confidentiality obligations. And also ideally you should obtain a signed document by the employee where he acknowledges the projects he worked on and possibly where it details the trade secrets he had access to. As a conclusion, you will have understood that if you want to effectively protect your trade secrets, you should implement a trade secret action plan. So perform an audit, identify your trade secrets and the protection measures in place. Organize an inventory and classify your trade secrets. Improve the processes in place. Review your contracts. Review or draft a confidentiality policy. Review the confidentiality processes and adapt your HR practices. Basically implement reasonable steps to protect the secrecy of your trade secrets. Fourth, educate your workforce, but also educate your suppliers, your business partners, even your clients sometimes. And last but not least, monitor and react. If you become aware of an illicit use, copy, appropriation, disclosure of your trade secrets, you should react. If you put in place these kind of measures, first of all, you will prevent a lot of problems. You will prevent trade secret leaks and trade secret thefts. And second, if you are confronted with an illicit use of your trade secrets, you will be able to react. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question, don't hesitate to drop me a line. Valentin Delecourt, vdlc@daldewolf.com. Thank you.